Hey everybody, and welcome to another RCT2 review. I hope you all had a nice Christmas and New Year's, and you're having a good 2022 so far. Today's park is Snozzberry Farm by Luketh. This was a recent Silver Award winner on New Element, and it's a lot of fun. I was actually the high vote on this one, and honestly, it was just a really sort of kind of fun, nostalgic, just unique take on a park. So here we have our standard entrance. What I like about this is that it's actually using the in-game entrance pieces here, just with all sorts of just interesting scenery put around it, so it looks like it sort of blends in with everything. We see these glass tree motif pieces that we're going to see all throughout the whole space. Love these flowers. The use of the kind of flower bed pieces versus the quarter flowers is a really nice mix through this whole thing. This is all no custom scenery, so using some pretty unique different pieces here to do all the different stuff. We come right in here to a nice little carousel, and inside here we've got, first of all, this one called "You Get No Commercials," and this one here called "Save the Matinees." So kind of funny little stuff throughout. There's actually a whole bunch of really great signage and entertainer names and just other things that are totally worth seeing as you go through and check them out. But this building is actually really cool. I like the way that we've got the rings around the 3D cinema here, and also just the way that it pokes up through the roof. It's done pretty well. I really like this queue actually, with the covered path here, and then just some of these different roof pieces, and then the castle piece kind of sticking up out of it. Kind of interesting as far as all that goes, and then using the mushrooms here for umbrellas. I know it's not a new thing, but still, it's kind of unique and interesting. Same here with the reverser coaster pieces here for this sort of protrusions from the roof pieces, and then underneath we've got the gas stations there, which is kind of cool. So definitely gas station themed here. Also, we have the brick from the maze around here. So really clever uses of different parts and pieces. Same for this little row house piece here, integrated into the other scenic throughout the whole thing, and then just also the nice pieces like this. So the skeleton here, and the Roman statue, and then also the Darth cavity here. So the cotton candy with the Darth helmet. And then we have the characters up here, and you can also see here some little bits and pieces. So we have You Pick, Snozzberries, November through February, and it actually leads back to a garden here, or a little farm. And there's actually a number of different farmland areas around, which we'll take a look at here in a little bit. Okay, so spinning around, we've got the drop tower over here, a nice little amalgamation of this kind of wood pieces and the castle. It's kind of interesting. And here we've got, this is called Misty Mountain Hop. Kind of like the use of this the space theming here on top, just sort of interesting, unique piece, but works nicely. As we come around here, we've got these great little figure eight type shade structures over top of the lily pad seating, so infinity awnings as they're called. And then love these cherry trees here with the standard cherry tree and then the flowers tossed onto it. So this brings us to our first coaster here. So this is Sugar Magnolia. And actually the coasters on the whole in this park were pretty cool. And Luketh does a pretty nice job with coasters. He's got a very unique approach to coaster design. There's some pretty interesting spirals that he had done for a while on some wooden coasters. But all of these I think are really kind of decent layouts. We've got our little carpenter guy up here, and then just different kind of oddball theming type things, like the dinosaur here in the middle and the playing cards as the wall. We got this great kind of triple turn drop here into a helix, and then just kind of nice smooth hills and curves. I like that there's a fair bit of structure over here, and it also kind of follows the structure pretty well throughout the whole thing. It just flows nicely across the whole area. little tunnel here is fun. And then wrapping around to our final brake run here, which is a nice little covered area. Queue was nice, same with the whole thing. I like this building even more on this side. For one, you've got the Western theming buildings on top, which actually act really, really nicely for roofs and windows and things like that. And then underneath here, we've got the train, which is Chocolugabruchu, which is just fun to say. And then a shade structure here in the back. And then these Coke bottles here on the, looks like gummy Coke bottles maybe, on the front, which is kind of a fun, clever use for those to do the columns. So spin around, and we'll take a look at the next coaster here. So this is the next one. This is the Oompa Looper 2, which not necessarily the biggest fan of the structure here. It's kind of obscures some of it, and I think this green is a little offensive as far as just color palette goes compared to some of the other stuff. And actually this palette is nice. It's pretty close to the real one, but we'll see in a minute some really nice colors with it. But other than that, this coaster is interesting. It sort of has its basis in some realism, but it does some pretty unique stuff. Big loop here, first real tight corner here into this dive loop, but I love the way it sets up to thread the loop with the 0G. Cobra Roll runs pretty smoothly throughout, and then we're going to wrap up to this block break here on the diagonal, and this great dive through the building, which is sort of odd. And then a set of interlocking loops here, which has this kind of interesting steep curving hill sequence, one here and then one here down into the tunnel, and then this sort of outward bank into a half cork, half roll thing here. Certainly gives up on some of the realism as far as that goes, but I actually kind of like it. It's just got some neat flow to it, which I think is useful, and I like this interaction up here. So bridge certainly a little bit forced here up and over, but kind of neat how the loops are half buried here, and then you've got this kind of nice set of trees and everything just below this coaster up above. So I think that was done pretty well through the whole thing. Again, nice use of the Western buildings here for the station itself. Looks pretty good, and then also just the train kind of coming through the middle of this underneath. Just sort of unique place settings as far as all of that goes. Here's the Get Your Ducks in a Row sign with this Swan Splish Splash. Just fun, clever names. I do like this little aqueduct coming out and dropping into the water here, especially the little piece of goo scenery down below, so you get that sort of bubbling effect there. It's a nice way to do it in NCSO building. Carrying these trees around, this is actually a super pleasant space here in the front with the green pathway, because the green just sort of blends away since you don't have the invisible path. I mean, I suppose we could have just edited it away, but it honestly just looks really nice with the carousel, no base. It's called the Barefoot Carousel, and just these flowers all the way around with the just kind of openness. It's a really nice way to do it. And we have one of our other entertainers here kind of wandering around. And nice use of these Egyptian lights too. You really don't see them used terribly much because they're not super easy to use, I would say. And then let's pick up this coaster. So this is our last coaster here. And this is where you can see the different palettes. So this blue, which is awfully bright. If we pull up our color palette, you can see that we've got a much brighter blue here, a much brighter light blue, and then we have this pink here, which is really kind of a standout. And honestly, I love this color scheme here. It just looks really nice, nice and bright through the whole thing. So you got a threaded diagonal lift hill through the loop, which I think is pretty cool. And this is maybe my favorite coaster layout in this map, which I know it's on the more kind of standard side, but I just love the way that it takes the standard double loop, double corkscrew layout and does something totally unique with it. We've got the two corkscrews here, one over the train as it should be, and still a helix here in the end into the brakes. You've got your two loops with this exit pathway right over top of the whole thing. Just kind of nicely done throughout the whole thing, and then the supports are done really nicely as well. And then lastly, as we come out here, cross this little bridge here, and this takes us to the little quaint house, to our farmhouse here, which has the funky farmhouse tour. So it's got the crooked house in there, and just actually a really nicely put together space, like the garden here, like the fountain here with the miniature golf hole piece kind of stuck in there. And then all of this leads to all of this kind of farmland around, which is just a fun different stuff. So we've got our water tower back here, and then all these other little parts and pieces. You've got some uh, pyramids here. You've got these little row houses and things here, and there's various clickable stuff throughout, and there's all sorts of various various signs, like here's to parks never finished. Here is back to Snozzberry Plantation, which is another park that Luketh has done. I don't think we've reviewed that one yet, but certainly when you click the link below to download this park, you can go to his profile and see all the other ones. Love the use of the giant carrot object. It fits here. It's not super cartoony as far as all that goes, which is kind of fun. So here's Luketh himself cooking up the Snoz carrots on this side, and the other different pieces. So here we see some of these glass trees farmed here, and then using the UFO ride here. We've got mole ants coming through the whole thing. And just all sorts of other little fun details throughout. I would encourage you to go through and read all the signs. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but they are a lot of fun. And looking at the entertainer names and things like that, there's just a lot to see in the park. A lot more detail beyond just your standard theming and coasters and everything like that. I think it's telling to me that this is a relatively small park. I mean, I can kind of zoom at this level and get the whole park, but you really don't get the whole experience until you actually get in there and look a little harder and actually view some of the things that there are to see. There's just a lot of fun jokes and just fun creative stuff. So I do hope that there will be some additional sequels to the Snozzberry series, I suppose. Maybe a big one at some point. Just the creativity that Luketh puts into some of these parks is a lot of fun, and it's definitely cool to see some sort of off the beaten meta path that a lot of theme parks, especially those done on New Element, are going. Just to see this sort of uniqueness is a lot of fun. So hope you enjoyed this one. Definitely download the park. Link is below, and check it out. And let me know what you think. So that's all for today. We will be still hitting our usual schedule here as we move forward. So videos on YouTube Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And then we'll start doing more streams again. Thursday nights for Parkitect, and either Saturday or Sunday for RCT. We may do some more in there as we go forward. But if you'd like to get more info on all of that, feel free to join our Discord. There's also a link below on that one too. So thanks to everybody who made the channel into what it is last year, and for those who continue to watch. And I hope that you guys will have a great upcoming year. So we will catch you in the next video, and or maybe the next stream. So until next time, bye now.